Hi,
My name is Tracey,
and my name is Lynn.
and together we
are
are Bollocks and Balls. We like to chat
And boy, can we chat.
about the bollocks and balls.
Mainly in our heads, but also about life in general. After all, it's good to talk.
Good. Afternoon.
As though it's all bloody melded into one today. We've been here so long that
Oh, my mouth will ache in a minute.
I wonder, my mouth probably will ache by the end of today.
It's a shame you can't record your words like you can your steps.
Oh God, I'd have freaking 10,000 by now.
I think so. Easy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the wrinkles must disappear now. The amount we've talked today.
Yeah, that's what it's been, La. It's been exercise, facial exercise.
I will be wrinkle free in the morning.
Good for the soul.
It is good for the soul. What, wrinkles or talking?
Talking. Don't know how wrinkles are in.
Wrinkles are not good for the soul.
They're not good for the soul.
And I recorded that. So been doing a Facebook story today, and I recorded that video this morning when I was on my walk this morning.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
And I watched it back, and I was like, Jesus, look at the state of that first thing this morning. I was like, that's not pretty. I had just literally rolled out of bed, to be perfectly honest. It was a little bit. I was like, oh my God, that is not pretty at all.
Yeah, I don't think mine are fine lines anymore.
Mine aren't.
I think they're craters.
You and me both, love. I was like, ooh. Didn't realise I looked like that quite so much in the morning. Because nobody looks in a mirror first thing in the morning, do they?
It's funny, isn't it, how we get hung up on age?
Why do we get hung up on age?
Oh, we do, don't we?
We do. You're right, we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
We get hung up on our wrinkles.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Yeah. We shouldn't do, really.
Well, no, because age comes with great wisdom. Well, some of us.
You hope so.
Not all of us, clearly.
And I always say, like, the bigger the number, the better, because still here then, aren't I?
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true.
Mm.
But yeah, we get hung up on our facial features and which bits of us sag.
Yes.
Because it all goes a bit south when you reach a certain age.
Oh, I think it goes east, west and south.
Oh my God.
It definitely doesn't go north.
Because
You just shrink as well. So let alone the sagging, you got the shrinking. Oh, aren't you glad we came on here today?
We're having a fucking
better.
fun today, aren't we? I was going to say, to be honest, mine has never been north. They've always been south facing. Nothing has ever been perky in my body. Ever.
I was talking height.
I definitely think I have shrunk over the
I
years.
have.
Have you?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you measured yourself?
I shrunk, yeah. I don't know when we were doing it. I think it might have been with the grandkids. But yeah, I used to be 5 foot 3.5. Precisely. That ½ inch makes all the difference.
Yeah, that's what most men say. Sorry.
But no, I think I was 5'3", or I don't know whether it was just a bit under actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I always used to say I was 5 foot 5.5.
Oh, see, you're bigger than me.
Yeah.
That's a snitch.
Yeah, but you're the one that walked round in 4-inch stilettos. I can't walk round in any kind of stiletto.
Well, that was why. It made me taller. Oh, and the platforms. I loved the platform era. Bring them back. Yeah.
I'd still fall off them and break my neck.
I loved platforms, wedges.
I do like a good wedge.
Loved wedges. Yeah.
I used to have a really nice pair of
platform
wedges.
Shoes. They were my fave. But yeah, I could run a race in a 4-inch heel.
How the hell can you do that? I've never been able to do that.
Trouble is, I always said to myself, I'll always wear high heels. I'm never going to give them up. Then age, doesn't it? It's like always in my flats now. Can't even wear them now.
Always in flats.
Yeah.
I bought a pair of wedges with a heel on for a wedding. I'm not sure how long I am going to last in them.
You have to take your pumps with you as well.
I will.
Mm.
I'll have to take a pair of me rocket dogs.
Yeah.
Other plimsoll shoes are available.
There's something to be said for them comfy shoes.
Oh, there is. I like a pair of comfy shoes.
I know. It's weird, isn't it?
Or a good pair of comfy boots.
When I was a kid, I'd always wear high shoes and no coat. Just freeze your, well, I'd freeze my bollocks off if I had any, but as I haven't, but...
Just freeze your tits off
Yeah,
instead.
there you go. Yeah. Never wear a coat.
I don't wear a coat now either, to be honest. I'm not... Well, that's not true. I do wear a coat. I'm not a massive fan of a coat.
No, I'm not a massive fan of a coat, but I do wear a coat now. But I never used to wear a coat, or... Yeah, I just freeze. Funny, isn't it?
But I don't think you feel it. When you're younger, you don't feel the cold as much.
No, not as much. That's true.
The older you get, the more you feel it.
Yeah, which is crazy when there are all these bloody hot flushes.
Yeah, that's true. That makes no sense. You don't feel it then apart from flipping boiling. Like somebody's whacked the central heating up to 90 degrees.
Funny, isn't it? Anyway, what's all that about then?
I have no idea. I don't have no idea what we were going to talk about today either anyway.
No, I don't actually. Any ideas? Guys out there got any ideas?
Yeah, give us a clue. What do you want us to talk about today? Other than wrinkles, platform shoes, hot flushes.
I did think of something earlier, but that eludes me now. What?
Yeah, we've probably had several conversations, but
I know. I think we have today, haven't we?
We've had lots of conversations today.
Yeah, we've been doing like a work day today.
Yeah.
Because we sort of got to the stage where we think, we need to get the things sorted and done, because we've done a lot of changing things. We've done a lot of training to introduce things, haven't we?
Yes.
So we've had a little bit of a jiggle about.
Yeah, we have, and it's been good, and we've come to lots of decisions today, which is good.
Yeah.
We like making the decision.
Yeah.
But we've also talked about, which I think is really interesting, in how we've changed things over the past 2 or 3 years, and how we view those changes.
Yeah. Yeah, it is quite interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I think we both sort of thought, or I did definitely, that felt almost like we hadn't moved forward with things. And then actually, when you sit and look at it, you have moved forward in so many ways, but we don't see it, do we?
No.
We forget about all the work that goes in, sort of all the groundwork that people put in, or we've put in, and people put into their skills, isn't it? And you forget about that sometimes. And I think people definitely forget about that when they're paying for like we do treatments and things. So when they're paying for a service, they think, oh, it's just an hour at a time. But then think about all the hours and hours and hours that you put in to get to that stage to be able to give that treatment. Yeah, definitely.
I think there is, isn't it? And how, like you say, for me, I also think it's how I view changes. I think as humans, we're constantly evolving a lot of the time.
We don't realise.
And it's not till you actually stop and think, okay, I'm going to look back to where I was 6 months ago.
It's really interesting when you do that.
Shite. I have changed. This, and this feels different. This, and this I don't, isn't what an issue so much as it was 6 months ago. And especially if you're doing the work, and even if it is, when we mean work, you don't necessarily need to be deep diving, but even if you're listening to a podcast once a week, or even if you're listening to an audio book when you go out for a walk, or when you're in the kitchen cooking or whatever. But if you pick up one thing from that podcast or one thing from that audiobook that you then take into your life, the change that makes and that rolling effect that has.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting if you ask yourself a question and then go, how would I have reacted, or what would be my answer to that 6 months ago?
Yeah.
And that's where you can think. And I think that's sometimes when you look to your past, isn't it? And to credit yourself for how much you've changed. Because I can look back and God, 10 years ago, I would have reacted like that, like a tornado. And now 10 years later, it would be hardly any reaction.
That's it.
Because you're in a different place.
Yeah.
Your mind's in a different place.
That's it, isn't it? And you make those changes, don't you? You evolve and move and grow. But actually, I suppose because the process is usually quite slow, you don't really recognise that, do you? Or like you say, give yourself credit for that. Or actually sit and reflect.
Yes. Oh, that's a good word. We've used that word for a long time.
But and reflected on what you've done and how far you've come.
Yeah.
It makes it's really interesting. And us reflecting today, which is what we've done, about the changes that we've made within the business, is massive. Because actually,
huge.
Because we've both been listening to Stephen Bartlett's audiobook, haven't we?
Really good.
Which is really good, and we've both got loads from it in different ways. But he talks about businesses making failures. So essentially, the last 2 or 3 years of us of Bollocks and Ball, until it became Bollocks and Ball, have essentially been failures in the fact that it's not gone the way we wanted it to, or the way that felt right for either of us.
I think a lot of it for us, hasn't it? It's just like, this is really good, but it hasn't stirred that in your gut that you think, this is it. This is. But so we have made lots of changes, and they're not really failures, but in a sense they are failures.
They are failures in the sense that it's not done what we wanted to do, but it's not. For me, I don't see it as a failure.
No, but it is in a sense, and I think it's really nice to use that word, failure, because failure is not a word to be afraid of, or ashamed of, or all those emotions that we attach to failure, don't we? But it's not bad to fail. We need to fail. I think we have to fail.
I think that's the only way you learn.
Yeah, it is, because not everything is going to go to your plan.
No, and I think, like you say, I know when failures happen, often at that given moment, you can't see any learning in that, and you don't think it's ever going to change. But actually, like you say, 10 years down the line, not even 10 years a lot of the time, a lot sooner than that, you can see where you've changed and you've learned from that. And whether that's business or personal or...
I always think now a failure is just a place where it's not meant for you.
Yeah.
So it's not right for you, it's not meant for you, so it's not the right place to be. It's just that we've attached so many things to that word that we make it a real negative, uncomfortable word to use.
Yeah, because nobody likes to see that, do they? Nobody wants
to fail.
No.
But it's good to fail.
But also, like you say, isn't it? If you do that, all you concentrate on is the failure. Nobody looks at the successes that live around that failure.
Yeah.
Where there is often more success.
Yeah, definitely.
And more things that have happened in a good way.
Yeah.
Than that one failure that everybody, that your mind thinks of and will drag you back to.
Yeah. I mean, I think you hear it like so many times with that like you say, it's not so much a failure, but people look at it as a personal failure when they get sort of made redundant.
Yeah.
They take that as on board as a personal failure when it's not, because usually when you're made redundant, it's just circumstances around you that is nothing actually to do with you. It's just to do with other factors, and people look at that as a failure, and then 6 months later they'll go, oh my god, best thing that happened, because now I'm doing this. Because the majority of people are stuck in jobs they don't even like anyway, but won't make that change.
But that's the thing, isn't it? And like you said, it's the same with relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't they?
Yeah.
Divorce is seen as a failure. It's a failure of a marriage. It's a failure of a relationship. But actually it's not. It's the ending of something that clearly wasn't working in the first place.
Yeah, that wasn't right. That wasn't meant
right
to be.
That wasn't right for you as that person.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is quite hard to see at the time.
Yeah.
Really hard to see at the time, because again, we take that on a personal level.
Yes.
Don't we?
Yeah, you do, don't you? It's a bit, I did something wrong, they did something, whatever. But like you say, you take that on a personal level, and you view what other people think of you. There's a lot of, with failure, there's a, what will other people think of me because I failed?
Yes. Oh gosh, absolutely. And what we need to do as human beings is sit in that place about how we would feel if that was us sat in that spot.
That's it, isn't it? And just,
but it's not a failure.
I don't know. It's not.
No.
I think there's
a change
lesson
that needs to be made.
Yeah.
For the better. We just don't always, like you said, we just don't always see that bigger picture.
No, it's hard.
That bigger part of the plan.
You can't see that bigger picture when you're in the depths of whatever that is. You can't see the bigger picture. And I think for us on that business level, when you're in it, you can't always see that bigger picture.
And we did, I think, do the right thing. We stopped, didn't we? Because we were like, just for, I don't know, it was just gut intuition, wasn't it? In the sense that this isn't going where we really want it to go. No. And so we stopped and we literally stepped right out, didn't we? And stepped back so that we could then look at it. And things hadn't really gone wrong. It was just that feeling, this isn't going a way that we're comfortable with, or we feel we want it to go.
That's the thing, isn't it? And it didn't feel right with us. No. And I think there's a big part of society today where we don't, I'm just going to say, don't think with our feelings, but that doesn't kind of make sense. But we don't feel things.
Yes. We go with our intuition. Think, yes.
And thinking is often based on other people's opinions or how we're viewing ourselves, rather than how we feel about something.
Definitely.
And I think, if you can feel your way through stuff.
And this is where we need to take that time out, don't we? We need to push that pause button, and that's okay. Just pause, step away, and then you can start to think differently. But you have to step out of that. It's like you have to step out of where yourself is in that time, and step out and look at it and go, okay, what is it there that I don't feel comfortable with, or I'm not liking? And that would be a really good question. Am I thinking this, or am I feeling this? What am I thinking?
That's a good one.
What am I feeling? That would be a really good question to ask yourselves, because but you have to step away and push that pause to be able to do that, because we're all in our busyness.
Yeah. Too flipping busy, isn't it?
Yeah. We have to step out of that into our unbusyness and go, okay, let's just have a look at this.
Yeah.
I love that. What am I thinking? What am I feeling?
You need to remember that.
Yeah, I like that.
You need to write that down somewhere so that you remember that.
Yeah.
So when we have a conversation in a week's time, you won't go, what was that thing I said while we were talking on the podcast? Oh, the only advantage is that you could go back to listen to the podcast and go, that's what I was thinking. Note to self, we now need to record every single fucking conversation we have so that we can remember stuff.
No, I like that. That's really good. I think that's a really good way of doing it. And it's a really good way of discovering yourself. To actually get that difference between what you're thinking and what you're feeling.
So it's your head and your heart thing.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was a big head thinker.
Mm-hmm.
Huge, wasn't I?
Yes. Yes.
It took me a long time to get out of my head and into my heart.
And I think a lot of people are in their heads.
Yes.
A lot of people
I
live in their
didn't
heads.
realise I was in my head.
But I don't think people do.
Not at all. I didn't. No.
I think we're very much conditioned and programmed not to be in our hearts. It's not what society says.
And I wasn't comfortable with my feelings either. So that I think that even pushed me. My face then.
Oh, what is it? What's you mean about my fucking face? What's wrong with my face now?
When I said that, your face was like, what the fuck's she talking about? I was like, that's interesting. She just said that. Your face really spoke then.
Oh dear.
You analysed that when I said that.
So then we were just going to go into a session then. We were just going to go into a one-to-one session. Let's analyse Tracey.
Yeah, I can see that written all over your face. Like,
okay, let's explore this a little bit further, Tracey, shall we? Are we comfortable? Now explain what you mean by that.
Well, I don't really know. I was just a big thinker, wasn't I? And I think I was so afraid of my feelings because I was afraid of the vulnerability that those feelings put me in and made me feel, that for me, I had shut them down.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So it was just thinking with my head, with blocking out anything that I felt. Because feeling for me was too vulnerable. And to be vulnerable was not where I wanted to be. Whereas I can understand now, and I get that vulnerability is a big, big strength. But that was a real difficult journey for me to find that and feel that again. So it was easier just to not go with my feelings and shut them away and just think with my head.
Vulnerability is a huge thing.
Yeah.
And it's not something that we ever teach people to be vulnerable.
No, it's not. And we really should. It's a very, very uncomfortable place to be. But when you can understand it and accept it, it's the biggest strength that you can have.
Definitely. But again, it's one of those things that we don't actively encourage people to do.
No, because I was in the thinking that if I'm vulnerable, then I'm going to get hurt.
Yes.
So don't be vulnerable. Don't show that vulnerability. Don't even think about that. Don't feel it. And then I don't have to go there.
That's it. And vulnerability is often seen as a weakness.
It's always seen as a weakness. Yeah.
It makes me weak.
But it doesn't.
Not being vulnerable is being strong. I'd say it was the other way around.
Yeah. I mean, I would never cry. I would never cry in front of people. But then that got to the stage where I would never cry alone either. Because that made me vulnerable. And I didn't want to be sat in that place. But actually now, I haven't got any qualms with that now.
No,
because I've accepted that vulnerability is there, and actually, when you can accept it, you actually get less hurt.
Yeah, because I think if you open that vulnerability up to people, it allows other people to be vulnerable too.
Yes.
And in most cases, I'm not saying in all, but in most cases, if somebody is vulnerable with you, you you react to that. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? You give empathy, you do whatever it is
Yeah.
you need to do. Not in every case would that be ridiculed or,
No.
you know, so it is,
Yeah.
it allows other people to do that.
Yeah.
But
It
like you
does.
say, it's hard.
It's hard. Really
It's hard.
Yeah. Because you're opening up yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
And that is always.
That's it, isn't it? Nobody, like you say, I don't think any of us are really truthful with a lot of people, are we?
No, and it's funny. Those people that are really open with their emotions, the first thing they will say is, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll cry at that." It's like, don't be. That's so good, because emotions are there to be let out. So why do we always want to put the lid on them?
But I'm guessing because at some point that has either got us in trouble, not made us feel good enough, or ridiculed,
made us feel vulnerable, and somebody has taken advantage of that,
or ridiculed that, or you know, isn't it? It's really. It's difficult to be real. It's difficult to be vulnerable. It's difficult to be out there for
like
all
I said,
of it.
The people that are real, they apologise for it all the time.
Yeah, because.
So what are you meant to be?
Oh God, Jesus, that's a flipping question to ask on an Saturday afternoon.
It is, and it's so difficult as an adult. Imagine like kids trying to understand emotions, because there's so many conflicting views, opinions, programming with emotions, isn't there?
And I think, what was I going to say? I think it gets worse as you get adults.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it gets worse.
Yeah.
We all need to go back to having toddler tantrums.
Yeah, because that's good.
Letting it out. Because like you say, they don't give a shit, do they?
No, they
don't care. They're in the middle of flipping a supermarket, having one because you won't give them like a packet of chocolate buttons.
They have an emotion. They let it out. They let it pass. Then it's gone. It's done.
Yeah. By the time you've got home, it's all forgotten about, isn't it?
Because they've let it pass.
That's the thing, isn't it?
But because us as adults, we don't let it out.
No.
We hang on to it inside. We then attach 10 million other emotions to it.
And reasons why.
And what could have been just, what do they say, like a 90 seconds emotion, gone for fucking years. We can hang on to that for years. How ridiculous is that?
I know, and then like you say, it attaches 20 other thousand things to it, doesn't it?
We can learn a lot from children if we allow ourselves to, because they laugh so many more times a day than we do, which is so good for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they laugh out loud.
Yeah.
We're always like, let's have a little bit of a snigger because I can't say that out loud, or can't laugh out loud with that. Emotions, like you said, they have a tantrum, they just let it out, let it go, done. We don't. We hang on to it forever.
Yeah. Shove it down.
Yeah.
And then it will come out with something else 2 weeks later.
Absolutely. And you'll have a go at somebody who's innocently said something because your bucket's full. And it's, this poor person will get the brunt of it. And it's nothing to do with anything to do with them. It's from 3 weeks ago when somebody cut you up at the traffic lights.
And you've just held on to that.
Yeah. Oh, we're mad. We're absolutely mad.
We are.
Yeah.
Adult humans are off their heads.
Yes. Just, you don't have to be angry, but then you wouldn't be angry with people if you let it out at the time. No. You have to be truthful and just say, look, that makes me really cross. Don't do that again. But we don't. Inside.
But then that's the thing, innit? You could be truthful. Again, we've said it before, innit? You could be truthful with kindness. But you need to speak words.
Yes.
We need to speak words.
And things will make you cross. But that's
They're bound to,
okay.
aren't they? We all get on our high horse about something.
Yeah, but if you don't let them out and you keep it all in there, you know, it then rages. And rage is not a good thing. Anger's fine. Anger's a natural emotion that we all need. But rage is not so good. But that's just because it's pent up anger that we haven't released. Just sat on it instead, and then it brew and brew and brew till the lid pops.
And it's like,
And then whoever's there.
that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, complicated shit, us lot.
Yeah, we are.
We are, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely.
Never
But we don't
just
need to be. That's
No.
the thing.
But we've had lots of years of making it complicated.
We just have to.
We have to make it simple.
Yes. We have to accept more.
Life is just a little bit more simple when you can accept.
Huge word. Yeah.
I think that's also another big word to get your head round.
Yes. Yeah. Well, because to accept certain things chucks a lot of emotions in the bucket, doesn't it? That we think we shouldn't accept or... But that goes back to maybe we just need to then sit, pause. Are we thinking? Are we feeling? What are we thinking? What are we feeling?
Yeah. Because thinking has always come from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or someone else.
Yes. And then that determines how you react.
So we need to be unbusy and to stop thinking.
Sounds good to me. About my brain, that's fine. I can do that.
We do need. We all need to be inventive with the pause button. We need to, evolve. I couldn't think of the word then for a minute. We all need to evolve the human race so we have a pause button.
Oh, that would be so good.
So we could just press it.
Does that mean we can press somebody else's?
No, I was just thinking that. I was like, okay, so we need to put it when nobody else can press it. Otherwise, everybody'd be round going, pause. Pause. You can shut the fuck up. Pause you. You're getting right on my tips. Let's pause you. Everywhere, the whole world would be just full of people on pause.
That'd be hilarious.
We'd all be like musical statues.
That'd be cool.
Oh, that would be funny, wouldn't it?
It would be funny. Yeah.
You just see random people in the street on pause. You're like, oh shit, they pissed somebody off.
That's brilliant. I like that.
I wonder how you can evolve to have that. The pause button.
Probably all will have one day when we've got all these little microchips.
Oh god.
There'll definitely be a pause button on there.
There's bound to be, aren't they?
Yeah.
What, when all the AI robots have taken over the world and we're all...
Yeah. Yeah.
We've all got microchips that tell us what to say and do.
Hopefully we'll be long gone by
I
then.
freaking hope so, mate. I do not want to be seeing that.
No. Well, they can microchip animals, they can microchip humans.
No, they don't actually make the microchips do anything to them, do they?
No, but I'm sure that'll come.
I'm sure some bugger somewhere is inventing that shit now, isn't it?
Yeah, sure it is. Sure it's in progress already.
Probably they've got in some lab rat somewhere that they've made him bionic.
Well, you look at the prosthetic hands now, don't they? I mean, they actually work because they connect with the thinking
brain
now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So for things like that, that's really cool.
That's fine. Yes.
That's really cool.
That's
and you're doing amazing work. To take over the world, that's not so cool. To make us all think the same. Mind you, a lot of us all think
the same. Anyway, I was going to say, do they need a microchip for that?
No, they don't really, do they?
No.
Because we're conditioned to think the same. So they don't. You're right.
Yeah.
Fuck, they don't need a microchip for that. We're all conditioned to
It's
think
done
the
already,
same.
isn't it?
The news and the media.
Yes.
And all that other shite.
Yeah.
Oh, but now we're getting a bit bloody political now. That's not like
this
us,
will be
is
a
it?
big rabbit hole. We'd better leave it there, I think.
I think you're right, my lovely.
Yeah.
Right, have a fabulous whatever you're doing for the rest of Sunday.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Have a good one.
And we will speak to you soon.
See you soon.
Bye. Very much for listening to Chatting Bollocks and Bull with Lynne and Tracey.
If you would like to see or hear more of us, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or of course by subscribing to the podcast.
If you share this podcast with others, you will make two old birds very happy. And finally, if you want more bollocks and bull in your life,
and who wouldn't,
then sign up to our newsletter. The link is in the show notes.
That's all, folks.
Love ya!